Let's talk about something I think we've all felt. You know that feeling when you're in a disagreement and suddenly it feels personal? Like it's not about the topic anymore? Well, in this explainer, we're going to get to the bottom of why that happens. This really dangerous fusion of our opinions and our identities.
Right? It's the central question. You could be talking about something totally random, and minutes later, it feels like a full blown assault on who you are. Why is that? Why does a simple difference of opinion so often feel like an attack? It turns out there's a really good reason.
So, where does this all come from? Well, the problem starts with a fundamental shift in how we treat our own beliefs. See, it's not just about what we think anymore. For a lot of us, it's become about who we are.
What we're seeing is this really fundamental shift in how we process the world around us. We used to be in a mode of observation, of curiosity, asking, what's going on here? But now we jump straight to opinion, straight to judgment. We don't ask. We just immediately decide, here's what I think about that. So why the change? Well, a big part of it is that our opinions have become a kind of social currency. Think about it. We use them to signal who we are, what we value, what groups we belong to. Having the right opinion isn't really about finding the truth anymore. It's a tool we use to build up our social standing and even our own sense of self-worth. And this has a huge knock-on effect. When our opinions are just currency, our conversations stop being about connecting with other people. They turn into transactions. We're not trying to understand the person in front of us. We're just assessing them, categorizing them, putting them in a box based on what they believe.
Okay, so this leads us right to the heart of the matter. It's a phenomenon we can call the Great Fusion. This is that critical moment where the line between what you believe and who you are completely dissolves. There's this quote that just nails it. The opinion has the person rather than the person having the opinion. See, an opinion should be a tool, right? Something you hold, you inspect, you can even throw it away if it's not useful. But when this fusion happens, the opinion now has you. It's in the driver's seat. And here's where it gets really sticky. Once you've wrapped up your identity, your emotions, your social life, all into one belief, letting go of it becomes incredibly expensive for your psyche. It's not just admitting you were wrong about an idea. Oh no, it feels like you're admitting that you, as a person, are wrong, that you're flawed. So if your opinion is you, what happens when someone disagrees with it? Well, it's simple. That disagreement is no longer a disagreement. It's a threat. Someone challenging your idea feels exactly like someone challenging your right to exist. And I mean this literally. This isn't just some clever metaphor. Your brain, your actual nervous system, can't tell the difference. An idea that contradicts your core identity triggers the same fight or flight response as a tiger jumping out of the bushes. Your heart starts pounding, you get defensive, your body is gearing up for a fight to survive. And this, right here, is why our conversations break down. The goal isn't to find the truth anymore. The goal is to win, to survive. You're not defending a point of view, you're defending your very existence. And when the stakes are that high, there's just no room for nuance or curiosity or changing your mind. Okay, so what does this all lead to? What are the actual real-world consequences when we all start operating this way? Well, they're pretty alarming. This fusion triggers four really big problems. First, our opinions become a weird kind of performance metric. We use them to prove we're a good person. That leads straight to a sense of moral superiority, where it's not just that our views are right, they're good, and anyone who disagrees is bad. Of course, that creates a total intolerance of curiosity, because if you're not careful, asking a question might threaten the whole identity structure. And all of this ends in pure confirmation seeking. We're not listening to learn anymore, we're just listening for things that prove we were right all along. Seriously, think about that for a second. Every human becomes a performance. Every tweet, every conversation, every argument, it's all a show. We're on stage acting out our identity to prove we belong, to prove we're one of the good guys. It's absolutely exhausting, and it is the opposite of real human connection. And this is where it gets even more dangerous, because it scales up. It starts with an individual, personal perspective, I think. But before you know it, it hardens into a collective identity. We believe. And at that point, you're not just dealing with personal psychology. You're dealing with a full-blown tribe, with rules and enemies and a whole lot of pressure to fall in line. Okay, that all sounds pretty bleak. So, is there a way out? Can we untangle ourselves from our beliefs and get back to a place where we can actually talk to each other again? the answer might not be what you think. It's not about learning how to argue better or finding more facts to crush your opponent. The source material here is very clear. The only way out is to turn inward. It requires real, intentional inner work. So what does that even mean? Well, this inner work can be broken down into 5 key areas. It all starts with self-awareness, just noticing that feeling, that uh-oh moment when you get defensive. Then comes self-regulation, learning to calm your own nervous system down before you react. After that, you can practice self-inquiry, asking yourself, wait, why do I actually believe this so strongly? That leads to self-authorship, where you consciously decide what your values are instead of just inheriting them. And finally, self-alignment, which is the hard part, actually living your life in a way that reflects those values you chose. And that's what we want to leave you with. As you look at these 5 practices, which one do you think is the absolute key? Which step, if you really focused on it, would do the most to break that toxic fusion between who you are and what you happen to believe? That's where the real work begins.